Hi and welcome to the Sales Acceleration Show. My name is Michael Humblet and I'm the founder of Chaomatic. This show is all about scaling your sales and marketing so you can actually make a lot more revenue. And finally, it took a while, it's the second person I found like that who is actually a real sales expert and marketing expert, all about growth. This is David. So David, maybe you introduce very shortly to our viewers what you do.
Thanks for the nice introduction and the claim of sales expert, but I'm David van der Auwera. I'm the founder of Growforce, and Growforce is a growth as a service company. So we help companies grow.
Strategy, and you do it for them.
Exactly. Also execution, really important.
Because that's something that I always see lacking. I see a lot of consultants, I see a lot of people explaining it, and I'm like the real pragmatic guy because I basically was in too many boards, too much strategy, and I said, but how do you do it?
Yeah. Well, it's always a difficult thing. I mean, if you look at the consulting part, it's a necessary evil. And
I agree.
And why is it?
You need to know where you're aiming the gun.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Really good. And then you have to assess the situation, because you meet a founder, a sales director, and he asks you a lot of questions. I have this challenge, that challenge, not enough leads, my people go away. Okay, but there's so many things involved, so you need to assess. And of course, that's something that we do, and I think you do as well. You have to assess the situation. And that's also a difficult part, because I mean, it's sales, it's marketing, it's all these kinds of stuff.
And what the execs are saying is not always what's really happening. That's something I keep seeing all the time. So I'm always like, yes, I like you, but I'm going to check
exactly.
in the basement what's really happening.
And the good thing about that is sales is also more and more data driven, right? It's numbers. So that's a good thing. You can take out, let's say, the talks, and you can take out the real numbers. And so bringing these two together, that's still something that you have to put your time in and to make sure that you make a nice wrap up to make clear priorities.
So if I mean, as we are experts, so I'm just gonna go left and right. And, so is it process or is it skills? That's something that always comes back.
I mean,
I'm gonna make your life hard.
Yeah,
right?
no.
I mean, ask all the questions they ask me.
Well, I will not say it's both, but I think for me it starts with process, right? I think a process needs to be clear and defined, and a well-defined process will take away lacunas in skills, and will make things measurable. And I think that's the first thing. Skills is something, I mean, it takes time to see them when you hire somebody and how it goes into the process.
Yet, all the questions we get, I'm guessing you too, is always about skills. Show me how to close. Give me a training. And I'm like, guys, let's build it statistically in such a way that it's closing is in effect of everything you do up front.
No. I think when you look at sales techniques and closing techniques and how to do that, I think you have to be authentic. Authentic, and then try to be a trusted advisor. That's what I try to teach to young people. I hear a lot of people saying like, you don't need, you don't need to know the product. You just have to sell it. No, that's not true. No. You have to be a sort of a trusted expert. And how can you do that? Is like gaining trust and asking smart questions. And then the closing, it's something that's sort of a co-creation process. That's how I see it. And of course, it's easy to say like, hey, you've closed a lot of deals and big number deals. That's true.
There are 5 questions you need to ask.
Yes, but I mean, but that is the essence. And then it's not about, if you follow the process and you're yourself, you're already like a nice walk down the lane.
True. One of the things that keeps coming back, and this is a complete side note, is I see so many salespeople that do not dare to ask the question. I see that a lot, and I'm thinking, what, you don't know? You should simply ask. Yeah, but they want to say yes on everything. I used to be like that. I wanted to say yes because I got paid to say yes, so they train me to say yes. While the trusted advisor will say no.
The best sales guys I've seen, even way better than I, they didn't even come with a presentation. They just came with blank sheet of paper and questions. And the questions. And say like, hey, I will ask you questions before we dive into something. And they didn't even have to show the corporate presentation anymore. It's just like finding out, can I be of your, I mean, that's so important. And also dare to a little bit push away. Do you really need me?
Yeah.
Because you want to get...
Yeah, but that's the exclusive factor, the saying no. It works.
Because if you push them away, they will come say, okay, yeah, but we still have we have a challenge,
Exactly.
and to capture that.
Yeah.
And so I think that good salesperson is like, it's first of all, if you start in that business or you want to get into sales, follow basically the process, but prepare yourself with good questions, and not like the evident questions like, what is your company doing?
Yeah.
But say like, the typical...
So, because we're completely deviated,
so,
we need to make at least 3 episodes of this.
Yeah.
No, seriously, let's talk about growth teams.
Okay.
So growth teams for me, sales and marketing.
Okay,
Is there
exactly.
more?
Yeah, no, that's that. And getting these two aligned, that's something already.
So how do you start? Where do you start? Well, what would be...
I think there are 5 or 6 key factors that you should assess when you go into a sales team. You're a new sales director or you're a consultant and you want to assess. I mean, first of all, take a look at the value proposition.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you selling? And not like, okay, all the features, but what's the pain and the need of the customer? What's the return on investment? I mean, a product or a service, I always say to customers, they watch me like big eyes and they say to me like, okay, what are you telling? A product or a service, you can sell it in 3 or 4 specific angles. First of all, money generator.
Yeah,
you save time, costs, go to market faster.
Yeah.
Or
save
risk.
time again.
Or risk.
Yeah.
And if you have like one of these 3 or one of these 4 combined, you have a great product. And you have to understand as a salesperson, if you don't have that, it's nice to have.
Yeah.
You should
and
rethink your
no
product.
Sense of urgency.
And there's no sense of urgency.
I agree.
That's one.
Following.
And then we look also, of course, from a marketing perspective. Yeah, is everything ready? I mean, is that message? Do you spread that across?
Okay. Is that there where you go inbound versus outbound? Or a nice blend, because that's something I keep seeing. You either have the really sales-oriented, all outbound, or the really all inbound. It's very rare you have the nice, really proper mix for me.
Well, then it comes a little bit to organization as well. From a marketing perspective, I'm looking at the nets. Is everything there to capture? And then if it's inbound or outbound, we can do both. But of course, I'm looking then after the value proposition at the team. You have like
skills and
the senior guy, the junior sales guy, and the marketing team.
Yeah.
Already the marketing team and the sales team, we see it a lot, at least in Belgium or in Europe, they don't talk the same language.
No.
And so,
I fundamentally believe you need to align them properly.
And that's your expertise as well.
Most of the time I'm doing more marketing than sales, and I'm always telling sales guys need to think like a marketeer, they need to think in value proposition. What do I need to do next in this process? You need a lot more leads, all of that. What's a good call to action, all that. And then I go to marketing and then I shake them up and I say, you need to think like a sales guy. I'm talking conversion, right?
Yeah.
It needs to work. You can't just have a nice picture. Yeah. That's where most time marketing teams go wrong.
Honestly, I must say sometimes marketing people hate me, because when I go in and I say like, what's really important for you? When are you as a marketeer or as a marketing successful? And they say, great branding, a lot of followers, etc. I say, what's the one metric that matters for you? I have been in too much meetings. Like, what's the color of the website? No. I mean, what's the one metric that matters? And then they look at me and I say, it's just how much qualified leads or conversion you bring to the sales team.
Maybe that's because we're sales guys. Because I have this discussion a lot, but I always say, I do too. I want quantity and quality. Quantity is how many leads, what's coming in, it's very basic stuff. And then quality is how much percentage goes from where to where, how fast, all of these metrics.
We are sales guys, but we're also business owners. So I dare to think that we're right.
No,
I dare to think, we must be right.
We must be right.
We must believe in that. So you have like the team, you have the value proposition, and then you have, of course, the sales process, where you have to think like, okay, what steps can we, first of all, do we have to define, and what can we automate? That's also part of course, from our point of view, technology.
I'm always amazed how few automations. In SaaS, you see some that are really good, and then all the rest is like really nowhere. They think they bought a CRM, we've automated it. No, true marketing automation is scary stuff. It's fast. And that's a lot of process. That's pure process for me. And then a machine, feeding the machine.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I think if you look at motivation of the sales team, if you have a sales team that has to do everything manually, I mean, if you can give your sales team a good automated process, from marketing to sales to close faster. Within your philosophy as a company, I mean, your sales team will be happy because they can spend the most of their time having in customer interaction.
And also it's healthy because they get stuff in, they don't need to. So I see a lot of these, I call them passive sales teams. They sit there and they're basically waiting, and then should I call, and they have no ownership, and I like to feed them. If you just feed them, then things go faster. But it takes time to feed, and it takes time to set it up.
Well, my belief is that like if you have like a sales team, a typical sales team, you have like 1 or 2 senior guys, 1 or 2 juniors. These juniors, they can learn a lot from generating their own leads. With help of automation, of course, as we call typical SDRs, right? And then sales development representative, inside sales guy. Well, if they have they want to grow in sales, it's a really good starting position. So if these young wolves can feed the senior dinosaurs, I mean, that can
match
be,
and they'll see
match and they'll learn from each other.
I fully agree. So hang on, we were at point 3.
We had the sales team, we had the value proposition, and we had the sales process or the marketing process. Well, marketing process should be aligned.
Of course.
Exactly. What are you going to tell in which phase of the funnel? The greatest thing I've seen is that like marketing teams are in full sync on communication based on the data that is in the CRM. Customers or prospects that are in the CRM system in that phase are fed with exact.
One of the things that I find scary always is when you start talking to sales and marketing at a certain stage, is the marketing team that's basically inventing the value proposition the whole time. You see them coming up with this value proposition. And very recently, again, I was at a company, and suddenly I said, guys, this is wrong. Your sales, you're talking to customers the whole day, marketing is not talking to customers, and you want them to come up with a value prop? This is not possible. And then I put them together. I really put them together in a room and said, figure it out. And then give them the freedom, and then of course you guide them and aiming the gun, right? Okay. So 4.
So we had the 3. 4 is definitely the technology part.
Pure technology,
I dare to make like a blueprint, a sales and marketing technology blueprint. I
really like that idea. Because if you go to growth hackers meetings, they do like an hour and a half speech, and I think they tell you 60 tools. Guys, but it needs to fit within the. So you create like a real tool blueprint.
Because
LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I'm thinking like that.
Whatever, all marketing automation, sales automation. Where does it fit in? How does your website fit in? Because it's point 4. Because first, I mean, there's no tool without the process. You see all these great.
You guys have on your new website some explanation about that?
Because
we should put it in the description of because I really like the idea.
I think it's important. But again, this technology first the processes, first the organization, because. You see this CRM, we are the best. That marketing, of course. I mean, there's no such tool as the best tool. It's just like it should fit in with the process.
And if you really think like SaaS, it's actually the connections, the speed in the connections, how you can let them work faster, and then you get to the Zappers and all of that.
Exactly. But you're in.
I do know something about sales.
That's for sure. Awesome. I mean, so technology, that's one, and then we have like a 5th and a 6th that depends on the maturity of the company. The 5th is on more, I would say, dashboarding and goals. What do you want to achieve? KPIs. And do you measure that?
And that's where commissions suddenly come into play. Because I got a lot of questions on commissions. The first thing I say, hang on, commissions is for later. Let's first fix all of this. And then we go commission, and I always say, pay for what you want. And that's a very difficult, long, extensive topic.
I maybe have a question for you there, is how do you see the goals of a sales guy? Do you see it like top line revenue, or do you keep him accountable for the margins as well?
It's a very good question. 1, it all depends on your business, number 1. 2, it also depends on the phase your business is in. If you're going for domination strategy, high acquisition, high growth strategy, I tend to pay a lot more pure on acquisition. I don't care about margins because I just want to eat everybody alive. The moment I get into a different phase where maybe I'm selling the company or I'm really optimizing, getting investments, then I'll go full on margins. And then I try to make commissions rather simple. 1 to 2 factors maximum. I used to get commission plans with 6, but nobody understood. It's like these Microsoft and Google commissions. They have no influence, they have no clue. And then say, I measured on no, I said, so go nuts. But I believe, and for me that's all part of aiming the gun. I really say, we want focus. I want you to stop all of that. I just want you to do that. but for 6 weeks, for 12 weeks. That's what I do with the sales sprints. You have to find a way to push it together and to take a lot of the distractions away, which is extremely hard because sales by nature, look at us, we're jumping from left to right, we find everything interesting, we want to do everything. It's so difficult. So it's one of the things, and the company needs to facilitate. No, you get the freedom, but you pick, but then you only do that. And then CRM on top of that.
But I mean, that's always why, because I say, often people ask me, and probably more than, you more than me, but ask me like this commission plan. I mean, for me, it's also like keep it simple, stupid, easy for them.
And one of the things I never get in commissions is I said, you have to make sure that it motivates you to do more, always more. So you need to kind of put in like not a line, but you kind of make it a bit exponential. And then once you hit a certain number, go crazy, like double, triple. And then people are like, yeah, but then they're gonna get rich. Yeah, but you're gonna get richer, right? So, but it all depends on the phase, because sometimes if you're like on the Nasdaq, some things you cannot do typically. And in Belgium, we are being punished by the government. We have very high tax rates, and at a certain stage, it just doesn't make sense.
The unlimited commission is more. It's not really.
When I was in England, I did a lot of business in England. They would buy Porsches and stuff like that. And I'm like, it just doesn't work here. So you have to motivate differently. But I do believe that the typical profile for that kind of is the real hunter, the lonely wolf. If you read the book The Challenger Sale, is the lonely wolf. It's very good. It can wreck a company because it consumes everything it can. It devours all the resources. On the other hand, you want salespeople that are intrinsically motivated by what they do. And that's a very different ballgame again. And that's learning and education, and they are typically the guys that love all the tricks we've just been talking about. And they go.
They go crazy.
That's why they stay.
But these people are the most difficult to pay and often become business owners themselves after time.
And they're hard to find. Yeah, and you know it's for a short time.
But thanks for that question, because that's always like okay.
If you have more, you know how to.
Sure. Let's have a meeting.
Let's have a meeting.
And maybe a sixth one, and that depends on the maturity of the company, how big it is. Is typically what we assess is the current, let's say, growth campaigns. You're talking about outbound, inbound. So I don't know, but you know that we have a sort of a philosophy, sort of a canvases that we have, where we take a customer into negative thinking first. Because
as in what could go wrong, or what are your customers thinking about you the wrong way?
What are you not doing today? And why is that? Because people are most of them negative. I mean, it's easier to think, it's crazy today, but to think negative about their business than positive. So we first, in every phase of the growth funnel,
I like that one.
We say like, we call that deal breakers. What are you not doing that people don't find you?
Black hole of sales.
And so and you have the sales and marketing team together.
I'm pretty sure they'll make very long lists. Endless lists.
And you at marketing, you're not doing this. Awesome. And then the second phase of that is that we come back and we see still that kind of, we see like, okay, let us now think on a metric that matters for a common goal to bring them together, and to list out maybe campaigns that have high impacts. And that we can do in 1 week.
Short wins, very short wins.
And then comes our growth marketing typical
and then the landing page.
But again, that depends on, of course, if it's one-man show. I mean, you have to see.
But what you're now saying is really for a bit larger corporates, I think. Well, scale-ups, it's still a different ball. I'm just thinking scale-ups is startups that just ignore them for now, because that goes in all directions. They need to figure it out, the value prop. Scale-ups, yes. They do a lot of growth hacking, but then the corporates, it's like a new way of thinking again, to align it again. The
difficulty there when you come with group marketing techniques is sometimes getting past IT, because you come up with great ideas, great processes,
you're sometimes faster.
And you say like, hey, we need a tool, and then all flashlights go off.
And sometimes you're also way faster than IT, because if you're using all the SaaS, it's just there, you click tack and you're off and go. And it's, I understand. Corporate policy says.
So that's.
How are you going to pay that, with a Visa card?
Well, that has to be approved by, and this is. So that's the
So I'm going to stop you here, because otherwise we're going to talk friends. I have some questions. I always ask some questions at the end. First one is, where is the best source of info? Where do you go to get inspired or read, or you say this is the book you need to read, or this is the website you need to follow? I guess it's on multiple, but is there one that stands out?
I have set some, of course, that's our nature. I've created some bots with some keywords that scrape, I wouldn't say scrape, but that monitor Amazon, and that bring me like the newest books with the most likes.
So I buy like 3-4 books.
Yes.
So I have this big pile of books, and it's funny, after 5 pages I know I'm gonna like it or I'm not gonna like it.
Well, so that's one, and second is, of course, I'm on product hunt because I'm looking for cool and nice tools. And
I see a lot of growth hackers actually doing stuff on product hunt, launching their little bots.
I'm mostly looking like, hey, I see a new tool, my team tests it out, and then we come with the feedback. First of all, does this work for us?
Yeah.
And if it's worked for us, we bring it to a customer. So it's a sort of, I like to do it. It's my curiosity as a sales, new things, new cool stuff.
Okay, how do you say no?
How do I say no?
Most sales guys are really bad in this.
Well, of course, for me, I'm not maybe the right guy to answer that because I'm also a business owner.
Yeah.
Because I say no, because I say like, hey, if I do it at this price, or if you ask me to do this, well, I can't do it because I have a business to keep alive, and you're a business owner as well, so you should understand it.
It's a very nice way of saying it, actually.
I mean, it's like trying to put yourself on the same level. To say no, a typical sales guy will say, yeah, but I have to ask you to, and they have said no, so I have to be your friend and your ambassador. That can work, but it's like, we have heard that a couple of times. I mean, it's not easy. Honestly, it's not easy to say no. The question is, if a customer says, okay, but I mean, if the question directs or you're pointing the gun to pricing, pricing is too low or pricing is too high, that is typical. You have to say like, hey, we bring.
Yeah, but I think in your case, you know your pricing, you know what you're worth.
Yeah.
And as you have more and more references, after a while, it's just, I mean, I've become very tough in this. I just basically say, no, I just know it's what you can ask. You can phone. I have a list on my LinkedIn with all my references. I mean, like 50. Just call any of them.
Okay.
And then in a way, it always comes back at a certain stage.
Yeah, but as I say, as a business owner, agree. But I'm trying to put myself maybe in one of the viewers here as a salesperson. So like, I'm not a business owner, so I cannot put myself on the same level.
No, but I was asking you how do you say that,
so for me it's like, I say like, hey, I'm a business, you have to keep your business alive, I have to keep my business alive. I have done X number of references, I mean,
so
better no deal as a bad deal. I mean, there's
as you're running 3 businesses, I saw, so how do you keep focus?
Luckily I'm not alone. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not really good at. So luckily my 2 partners in crime, as I call them, they are really better at things that I'm not doing. So the first thing is that you have to surround yourself with people that are better in things than you. Second is focus on the dashboarding, on the numbers. It's what I told in point 5. It's like we have a goal, a monthly goal, a quarterly goal, a yearly goal. I mean,
gear everything aligned.
This is focus. All the rest is okay. Let's do it, but numbers first.
What would be your best sales advice?
Be yourself. I mean, I have in my customer portfolio founders that are really technical, but I can make a sale because they are the trusted advisor. You have like these real sales guys or real sales teams also as customers or marketing teams. I think it's really important to be authentic, not to play a game or a role, and try to be honest and proud about what you're doing.
And if you're you can't lie, or it's just you.
Yeah, it's maybe like really fuzzy advice, but that's really the first thing I say to people. Be yourself. You're good at what you do, and take that to a customer, and then things will happen.
What's your biggest mistake? Where you think, I should have done that?
Oh, I make a lot of mistakes. My wife will laugh if she sees this movie. But what's my biggest mistake? I think I will come back with an explanation. But if you have a sales guy, I see myself still as a sales guy. You have like 5 things or 6 things you have to do. You have to generate leads. You have to start negotiations or first meeting, negotiation, craft a proposal, close a deal. I'm not really good in following up.
No, it's something I see a lot. Sales always wants new stuff. That's why I have this thing about sales operation and no friction. You forget to send the quote and get somebody else to do it.
Getting the quote out is fine, but then following up on things and tools can help there. But if I look at my weakness, because I don't believe there's 100% perfect sales guy. Following up on things and things have gone wrong. I won't go into detail, but I have suffered because of that small mistake.
So where can we learn more about you and your company?
So we have a website, GrowForce. It's grow-force.com. And
because I checked it out. If you are on the wrong one,
no, I'm not on the wrong one. We're not in that.
It's all It's get the right one.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I mean, we're on that, and of course, we typically thrive. Most of the time, we thrive at customers, of course, but we're also found in let's say startup communities.
Yes.
In Belgium. We also started up now offices in Boston in the US. So for us, it's exciting times to see like how are we going to tackle this market. So great stuff.
Looking forward to see more.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks for the invite. It was a pleasure.
If you like what you've seen, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for a lot more. And all the things that David has been mentioning we'll put down in the description, and see you next time for a lot more content.